So life as a musician and making money can be pretty interesting, but I wanted to talk about specifically with my revenue streams that I have right now in 2024. So 3 days a week, I'm doing music therapy, and this is 2 days a week, it's after school, right? Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'm providing mostly one-on-one music therapy sessions, a couple groups as well. And on Saturdays, I am providing sessions all day for that company, right? So that's company number one, which is the music place in Sunnyvale. Company number two right now, which is In Harmony, the shirt I'm repping right now. We have a studio in San Francisco, which I teach on Mondays. I do 4 classes and a private lesson, sometimes 2 private lessons. Tuesday, I do 2 classes, and then I drive over to Sunnyvale for that day. Wednesdays, I go to San Anselmo, and there I do 2 classes. I did have more, but I do 2 classes and then 3 private lessons right now on Wednesdays. And then, yeah. So those are my 2 main streams of income, but I do have gigs that kind of come and go. I am currently working on and off at this ALF facility, for those who don't know, assisted living facility. I actually found this gig on Craigslist, and they kind of call me up every once in a while to perform. It's not actually music therapy, it's a music performance, although I do make it engaging. I bring egg shakers for the residents to shake along to with the music, and I ask them kind of interactive questions, kind of like a music therapy session would be conducted in an ALF facility. It's just that they weren't looking specifically for music therapy, they were just looking for a musician to play and perform. I think this is actually an important part, is if what you're doing is music therapy, right, you don't have to look for only the opportunities that are for music therapists, right? Rachel Ramback actually talks about this in her book, Innovative Income for Music Therapists. If you're a music therapist, I highly, highly recommend checking that out. It's a great read. But you really want to take on other projects, right? You want to be able to take on other projects outside of music therapy, which you can still use your superpower of music, right? So, that was one example. Any other performing gigs? I was playing piano in a bar, kind of cafe bar actually, I should say, because it was, 11 a.m., just an hour cocktail vibes of, why am I in the bar vibes? Not cocktail, cafe, 11 a.m. People are going getting coffees and sandwiches. But, unfortunately that did get canceled, not due to my skill, but because they just had budget cuts, so they cut out the day that I was working. Kind of sucks. I'm still like an alternate / a sub for another day. What? Kind of a bummer, but oh well. What else? I have other gigs that come up. I play keyboards in another band, so every once in a while I have a gig. It usually doesn't pay that much, especially because, I'm part of a 5-piece band, and I'm pretty sure the lead singer gets a little bit more anyways. So, yeah, there's that. I had another gig. I made a post on Craigslist looking to meet musicians in the area because I just moved back to the San Francisco Bay Area. Met up with a musician, and actually she booked a gig, which was great. So, have that with her. Have a few more lined up as well with her. So I think, money and, making money with music, especially if you choose to have all of your income be music related, is very difficult at the beginning, but you see a lot of artists that do make it. Once you make it and you get momentum going, it's more speaking from an aspirational thing than spoken from someone who's made a killing with music, because I really haven't. But I can say right now that the bills are getting paid with music, and that is definitely a win. It's not where I want to be. It's not, my end goal is just to get the bills paid. Absolutely not. I do want financial independence and abundance through my work. And, that's part of the reason I'm hopping on YouTube and, doing other stuff outside of my direct work, right? But at the same time, I am very happy and grateful that I get to do this profession. I get to use my skills with music to help people and, make a living that is good enough to pay the bills. For me, right now, that's great. Like I said, not satisfied, have more work to grow, more room to grow in the financial side of things. But, I also just finished my education. So, as I'm trusting the process, I've just started making a video a day on YouTube. So if you've been following me, I appreciate it. Just gonna keep on going, and I have some offers in the thoughts, but still working on formulating them before I offer them or really put any sort of offer out there for y'all. But yeah, I also want to focus on passing my CBMT exam. If you've been watching my other videos, I've failed my board exam to become an officially board certified music therapist twice. This has been incredibly frustrating. I'm not a good test taker. I have come to accept that, but I need to be a good enough test taker to pass this test, or at least study enough. So, I'm going to be devoting some of my time now to just passing the board exam and getting the actual credential, and then you might see, some offers from me. I'll definitely have a Calendly link that we can book a one-on-one call and just talk more. Actually, you know what? I'll probably get that Calendly call up at least, even though there's not a specific offer. I'll throw it into the description, get that up and running. So, those that want to reach out and talk about whatever and see how, if there's something that I can help you with, would love to hop on that with you and just talk about, how I could be of support and, how it could financially make sense for both of us. And yeah, but all that shameless self-promo aside, all of that aside, the music industry, when you choose to make a living from the music industry, it is difficult, right? Especially when you're starting out and you have no momentum. Right now, I am still looking for other gigs here and there, just quick things to make, money. And, sometimes I find it, sometimes I don't, but I'm still saying yes to a lot of opportunities that come up, whether it's performing, whether it's, helping someone out with moving, like whatever it is, I am, doing that. I was working in a cafe for a little bit, but unfortunately gigs and stuff kept coming up, and, I was prioritizing them a little bit over the job and saying yes to the gigs, hoping that I could leave that job, because it was a cafe, just a little bit early. I guess I did it a little bit too many times, and they ended up firing me. Actually, the first time I've really been fired from a job, but I was actually pretty busy. I had 3 jobs at that time. Now I think I'm better off with 2. Well, actually, I have 3. I also contract with my old internship supervisor. So my internship supervisor, I contract with him and I do some telehealth work, very minimal. I'm doing approximately 3 to 4 hours a week. Really not that much. I see one private client twice a week, and that he's a client with a traumatic brain injury. And I also see I do assisted living facility groups online, right? And I run events for them, usually 1 or 2 a week. So nothing crazy. But yeah, so that's a little bit about my revenue stream as a music therapist and also as a music educator right now. I am hoping that things can kind of dial into one job or my own contracts. I don't know which, well, I do want to get experience in inpatient psychiatric care, which, is likely going to be my next job. However, I'm waiting a little bit before that because I don't want to just jump ship just yet. I want to have like a good amount of time that I've committed to the company, to my clients. The kids I'm working with right now with autism, they have difficulty with transitions, and transitions can include switching teachers. And while I will have to leave at some point, I do want to make sure that we've reached the goals that we have set out to achieve within therapy before making a transition to another therapist. You know, we're not going to get every single goal with every single client, but I want to do as well as I can and find a good time to leave the company. Yeah. So, well, if either of my companies sees this part of the video, well, then that's a little awkward. But, you know, I do plan on sticking around for a little bit. I mean, a little bit being like, you know, at minimum through 2024. So, yeah, they probably won't see this video. But if they do, hello, and sorry. But yeah, music therapy, music industry, anything within that, you know, is not going to be the same thing as, you know, people that do business and marketing. But I have had friends and family say, you know, the ones that are making over six figures, they're like, oh, you're so lucky you actually enjoy what you're doing. And, you know, there is something to be said. While there is not like there's not a finite, like, you know, we don't have the finite number of success that a lot of other industries have, right? You know, it's really hard to make six figures doing just music therapy, right? It is hard. I mean, it's easier in San Francisco just because the cost of living and taxes are so high, but it's still hard even here, right? Other places it's even harder, right? So I think it's important for myself and for others people within the music industry not to compare to other influencers that we see online that are in completely different industries. However, I do think still financial independence and whatnot is very important for this profession because, you know, being a musician is expensive. We got gear that we want to... Hey, so right before I wrapped up that last video, my phone actually died and I was unable to record the end, so just wanted to wrap this up. That's just some of my revenue streams and some of my thoughts about the financials of this industry. You know, anything music related and money, it's gonna be a harder time, at least in the beginning. But I do have high hopes for the future regarding, you know, the pay that I deserve and also advocating for the pay that we deserve as music therapists. Because right now the baseline is not as high as it should be. But if you found this video valuable, please smash the like button, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Thank you very much.